All right, first of all, thank you all for coming. Today we're going to be talking about recovery for the most part. That to be said, a lot of this is going to be just me spewing information at you. Any questions you have, you can interrupt. Honestly, I'd actually prefer that while it's top of mind. So if you have questions, just raise your hand. We'll answer it right here. I'm sure other people have the same kind of questions. So anything you got, just lay it on me. But we're going to be talking about, number one, why this matters, why recovery is so important. We're going to be talking about the three main buckets, essentially, of recovery. We're going to go through those. I'm going to give you practical strategies to improve each of those buckets, and then just a little bit of time for Q&A if you have anything top of mind, specific aches and injuries, all that kind of stuff. So why does this matter? I know what you're thinking, Mark. Brogan, I know exactly where recovery is. I finish up my workout, I go home, I get in my recliner, and I just disassociate for the next 3 hours. That's my recovery, right? Definitely not, Mark. You're wrong. Recovery shouldn't really be necessarily relaxation. It's usually going to be an active process in some manner, okay? Recovery is where the magic happens. Everything you guys do here in the gym, everything you do in the kitchen, it truly all pales in comparison when it comes to what you actually get in terms of recovery. When you come in for your workout, when Karen's over there bench pressing 350, the real magic actually happens when she goes to bed at the end of the day. That's when your actual muscles repair themselves from all the micro tears we make during the workout, and that's when those muscles grow back bigger, stronger, better, okay? As I said, recovery is not necessarily lazy. It's a necessary to provide the neurological and physiological adaptations from what you kind of just put into your workout. It helps with injury prevention, athletes and non-athletes alike. Linked to overuse injuries, tendinitises, golfer's elbow, tennis elbow, knee pain, knee patellar tendinitis. All those things are generally linked to improper recovery through one mechanism or another. And at the end of the day, if you want to lift more, if you want to feel better doing it, if you like to go and golf and not hurt after you're doing it or while you're doing it, then recovery is your best friend, okay? So the three main buckets of recovery we're going to be talking about are sleep, active recovery, and then we're going to talk a little bit about stress. So fundamentally, sleep is the single most important portion of recovery. This is that somewhat lazy portion. So while you rest, your body is going through vital processes, repairing your body, balancing hormones. That's an extremely important part. It's actually when you learn new things, it's when you get better at the movements that you're doing. If you go and spend 2 hours working on your golf swing, you're not actually getting all that much better during the process. It's somewhat better, but again, those key changes in your brain that allow you to actually do that movement more effectively happen while you're sleeping, okay? When we talk about sleep, there are mainly three portions of sleep. There's deep sleep, there's REM sleep, and then there's light sleep. With sleep, number one, we do want roughly 7 to 9 hours of sleep. If you're getting less than that, you're doing yourself a disservice, and the amount of sleep isn't the only thing. We do need that quality of sleep. Anyone here have a wearable that they use, whether it's an Oura Ring or a Garmin or an Apple Watch? Do you track your sleep? Raise your hands if you do at all. Yeah, cool. A lot of people do. If you don't, I will say you probably should. If you wake up and you don't feel like you're truly ready to get out of bed, you probably didn't get effective sleep. If you snore, if you have sleep apnea, those things aren't just like cute little maladies. They are genuinely like messing up your sleep entirely, and you're not getting what you need out of it, right? That's the entire premise, okay? Deep sleep specifically is when your body actually releases growth hormones. That's when your body repairs those muscle fibers. It's mainly involved in tissue repair and muscle growth. That's why quality of sleep matters. You can't get deep sleep if your quality of sleep sucks. If you wake up every 30 minutes because you're snoring and your partner jostles you out of bed, then you're not getting quality sleep. It's when collagen production occurs. Collagen is chiefly involved in tendon health. Who here has golfer's elbow or knee pain or anything like that? I've got probably all of that, okay? Collagen is literally what repairs those tendons and ligaments. All of your joints have tendons and ligaments. That's what makes them joints. If you're not getting quality sleep, your ligaments and tendons do not get to fully repair. And if you add that up over time, gradually, those injuries either just get worse or they never get better or anywhere along that line. So collagen production is very important, happens when you sleep. REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, is when you're dreaming actually. That's when you're having all those vivid, crazy dreams. That is when your body and brain are physically learning anything you learned today. If you read a book, if you learned a new movement, if you practiced your golf swing, that is actually when your brain is building those neural connections and making you better at that. It's not when you're doing it, it is literally when you sleep. That's when your brain, everything else is shutting down or going into very light processes, and your brain actually has the firepower to make those connections and make you more efficient at whatever the heck you were practicing, okay? Generally, just poor sleep means poor performance. Anybody ever come into your workout and you go and try and lift your 300 pounds on bench press that you did last Monday, but all of a sudden it feels like an insurmountable weight? It's just a different day. That's when sleep is vitally important. If you just sleep like crap, you're going to perform like crap. That's how that works, okay? Your body needs that. That's why those certain days are just harder than others, okay? And then there's a million other reasons, as we'll talk about, as to why that would be the problem. But generally, it's going to come down to sleep and quality of sleep. So if you want to perform your best, you do have to recover your best. Top athletes prioritize recovery just above almost everything else. They recover better than you. That's why they're better than you at everything, right? Okay, but they truly do prioritize recovery above so many things. It is vitally important. So strategies to improve sleep, I'll make this quick. Go to bed and wake up at the same time. I know that's not usually easy to do. I can fully admit that. I wake up at 3:35 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. It's not easy. I usually don't wake up at 3:30 on a Saturday, but I wake up pretty close to that. When you do that, your brain, your body gets used to that, and it knows when to fall asleep and when to wake up. It makes it all so much easier. Your body does make these habits form, and sleep is one of those that it really craves just normalcy across it. It wants homeostasis every single day. The more you can do that, truly 9 times out of 10, that's going to improve your sleep monumentally. You want a cold environment, roughly 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. A caffeine curfew is very important. Who here drinks like 7 cups of coffee a day? Just me? Awesome. So, me and Sarah, awesome. When you drink those 7 cups of coffee, you can have that. Honestly, that's probably not the best, but if you curb that a little earlier in the day, maybe by like noon or something like that, you're no longer drinking caffeine. Caffeine has a half-life, so you kind of just ramped up the available caffeine in your body, and then as the day wears on, that goes away. But if you drink that coffee at 3 p.m., it shoots it right back up, and now it's a lot harder to actually get back to bed. You get restless, you get anxious, all that kind of stuff. This one's always kind of funny. Don't drink 3 hours before bed. If you know me, you know that I love my beer. I really do. I probably have a beer just about every day, maybe even more. But with that being said, if you're going to drink, this is kind of funny, I implore you to day drink, okay? I truly mean that, all right? I mean that, end of the day, if you're going to drink, so be it. I get it. I totally get it. But if you drink close to bed, if you think it's like a nightcap and that just like makes me relaxed and stuff like that, you're fooling yourself. If you do have a wearable, it's going to tell you had just terrible sleep, no matter what, okay? Even if it's just 1 glass of wine, truly, the earlier you can do that, and I'm not talking noon or something like that, but 5 o'clock somewhere, 5 o'clock would be optimal, okay? If you go to bed at 9 or something like that, get your wine in at dinner, but stop as early as you possibly can. I do mean that, okay? Speaking of which, we have our party May 1st. Come on by, 5 to 8. We're pouring up. We'll drink early, okay? Exactly, yeah. Stay up a little longer, okay? Wind down, that means shutting off TVs, shutting off screens, don't bring your phone to bed. You really want to give yourself an opportunity to relax before bed. If you just finish grinding out some, whatever political show that you just want to viscerally strangle whoever you're looking at, and then you try to go to bed, it's probably not going to work. Your central nervous system is shot through the roof, you're not winding down, you're freaking palpitating. It's a terrible idea. It's not going to help. You will not sleep. And if you do sleep, you're going to have some weird, vivid dreams. So don't do that, okay? Last thing would be keep your phone outside of your bedroom, period, bar none. I don't care if you use it for your alarm clock, put it in the other room and make yourself walk out of the room to go get it. When you go to bed, your eyelids, they can literally sense LED lights even while they're closed. LED lights turn on your internal chronology essentially and makes you want to wake up. If you don't struggle getting to bed, like you can go to bed, you pass out pretty easily, but you find yourself waking up throughout the night, worst possible thing you could do is just check your phone. Number one, you don't even want to know what time it is, because no matter what you do, you can't change time. You wake up at 3 a.m. and you start stressing, okay, if I go to bed now and I wake up at 6, I get 3 more hours, 35 hours in. You're stressing yourself out. You're not going to help yourself. Don't look at the time. Couldn't care less. It's going to be whatever time it is. Doesn't make a difference. Can't change it, okay? And on top of that, again, LED screen is going to light yourself up. Now all of a sudden your body thinks, well, it's time to wake up. I'm just going to sit here and ruminate on my mistakes for the next 2 hours, okay? Not a good idea. Throw your phone away. I don't care. Just get it out of your room, okay? Find a new alarm clock. All right. Questions on sleep? Anything like that?
If you wake up earlier than you were wanting to, is there a certain window where you should just stay up or you should go back to bed?
Yeah, good question. Generally, the research shows if you try for about 10, 15 minutes, if you just try and count sheep and it's just not working, after about 15 minutes, you should actually get out of bed, go do something without a screen, go read a book or something like that, God forbid. Anything without a screen, but you should actually get up out of bed. And to that point, if you guys work on your computers in bed or anything like that, if you're working on stuff while you're in your bed, your physical bed, your brain and your body will connect work to your bed. It's not connecting sleep to your bed. I had a big problem with this. I would used to read in bed, and reading in bed could be worse, but working in bed with your laptop or something like that, you're literally training your body. This is a place where I work. And then you try and lay your head down, your brain's still on work mode, okay? So it's a big thing. But yeah, 15 minutes or so, if you can't get back to bed, take a lap around the house, whatever, do what you need to, but then go ahead and try again, and then hopefully that helps a little bit. But about 15 minutes. Any bit more than that, shake it up. Cool. Anything else on sleep? We can go back if we need to. Cool. What do you got, Tim?
What about any kind of sleep pill or something?
Melatonin, all that kind of stuff? Sure. Melatonin is perfectly fine. If you're doing anything, the research actually says if you do anything more than 2 milligrams, and that's going to be surprising to a lot of us, that's wasted time. That's wasted money because it costs more, and it actually doesn't just help you in the long term. Melatonin helps you get to bed a little bit easier. It doesn't tend to actually help you stay in bed. A lot of times when I take melatonin, I'll knock out pretty quick, but I will wake up within 4 or 5 hours or something like that, hopefully get back to bed after that. I take 3 milligram only because that's the only thing that I could find. They don't really sell 1 and 2 milligram. But if you're taking 10, 15 milligrams at a time, not helping yourself, and you're just exacerbating that problem. Now you're almost going to be dependent on it, and that's a problem. I didn't do enough research as far as magnesium, but I hear that's all the rage these days. So if it works for you, I say go for it. There's no research that I've found contrary to that. I wouldn't know dosage, so don't ask me, but if it works for you, by all means.
If you get a good routine going, but then one day something happens, like you're in front of a screen late, or you have a drink late, should you stay up later, or do you just go to bed even though it was too close?
I would try to do damage control and try and get to bed, but if you can wind down a little bit, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, just get your brain out of that, then I think that would be more helpful. But and yeah, you're right. Extenuating circumstances. We're not all gonna. We have nights out or whatever that looks like. Do what you can. This is not full, or this is foolproof if taken over time. But yeah, you're gonna have days where you're out and that kind of thing. Maybe stay up. Maybe sober up a little bit. Your brain's gonna help with that. So I'd say that'd be probably the best course of action. Give yourself some time to wind down. That'd be a good rule of thumb. 15 minutes, 30 minutes.
So I assume drinking alcohol in your bed is not good.
Depends what time you're doing it, Tim. Yeah, yeah, probably. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a problem beyond this workshop. Yeah, that's funny. Cool. We're gonna talk about active recovery. Okay, so generally, motion is lotion and movement is medicine. Okay, I know it's really tempting to finish a big workout and just kick the crap out of yourself and then just lay down in your recliner. Am I right, Mark? Come on, right? Tempting. Tempting, I know, right? Probably not the best course of action, okay? When we work out, we are literally making micro tears in our muscle fibers, which creates lactic acid buildup in your body. Now, what you need after a workout is generally some light movement. A lot of times with clients, of course, we're gonna do some stretching at the end. We're gonna take you through whatever, some cardio. Honestly, hitting the bike, as much as you all hate it, it's probably one of the best things you could do after a workout, I promise you. But movement is medicine, motion is lotion, okay? We're looking for light movement. Take a walk, do some yoga, do some active stretching. It's gonna increase your fluid exchange in your body, decrease that lactic acid buildup. Your body literally has no other way of getting rid of lactic acid than literally moving those body parts. If I have a crazy leg day, I have lactic acid buildup, I need to literally like shake my legs around and move around in order for that to exchange with the rest of your fluids in your body. It doesn't have a natural pump, it needs to be moved around by yourself. Or foam rolling, that's obviously, the coup de grace, I will go over that. But yeah, light movement, best case scenario when you're looking for active recovery. Even on your off days, that's the point, okay? You're usually gonna get sore the day after, take a walk. It's gonna help you a lot, okay? Another form would be rice without the ice. What I mean by that is rest, ice, compression, and elevation. We've all heard that, right? That's the typical thing with injuries and that kind of stuff. The guy who came up with that, the doctor, Dr. Gabe Markin, is gonna blow you away. Literally, like the next year later, he just detracted the ice portion of it. Ice doesn't help you. It literally doesn't help you at all. It actually prolongs the period it takes you to recover. If you bang up your knee and you put an ice pack on it, it's what's called what was it? Oh, dang it, now I'm just forgetting. It's analgesia, just pain killing essentially. It shuts off the neuroreceptors there so it doesn't hurt as much. But what that actually does in actuality is it just prolongs the time it takes for that inflammation to occur, which inflammation is actually a natural process that helps with the healing process. Increases blood flow there, increases fluid exchange. So if you ice it down, you are literally just shutting off that normal process from happening and just making it last even longer. It tightens up everything. If you have like low back that's really, just bugging you, you put ice on it, it can feel very good in the moment, I get it, but it's just genuinely not helping the period that you're gonna be feeling that pain, okay? So ice is not helpful. All the other things are great. Yeah, you should rest, of course, not all the time, but compression can help and elevation also helps too, okay? For acute injuries, that kind of stuff. Heat's great, and not always. Now this is kind of depends if it's soft tissue stuff, and who's to say, I couldn't tell you one way or the other. If it's joint stuff, like where it's actually mechanical, you have a tear or something like that, probably not the best course of action, but heat will help blood flow, and that's going to help that fluid exchange and decrease that tension. If you got muscle knots and stuff, I usually almost tell everybody, like, take a hot shower and then just take that massage ball to it or the foam roller or whatever. If you've got golfer's elbow, heat it up a little bit, make it more pliable, and then give it some rub, give it some time. Speaking of which, mobility and soft tissue mobilization, you want to think of those things like, the lacrosse ball on your back or foam rolling or all that kind of stuff, stretching. That is your routine maintenance, like you would take a car into the shop for an oil change, okay? That's what keeps you moving and grooving and avoids those overuse injuries. When things like golfer's elbow occur, it's when a tendon in your arm is getting too tight repetitively, and over time it just wears and tears and literally rubs that tendon into pain. If you take a lacrosse ball and you rub the crap out of it for a while, you loosen up everything and takes it off that tendon, so then we're actually able to continue doing what you like to do, which is golf, and not feel that pain. So all that tissue mobilization, foam rolling, massage, stretching, all those kinds of things, you want to think of that as routine maintenance. It's what keeps you in the game, and that is the name of the game, okay? Practical examples for that light movement, I always tell people, think about glute bridges. If you have low back pain, do some glute bridges. You all know what glute bridges are, right? Definitely. I'll just show you really quick. Generally, all of these are things that we do in the warm-ups. That's why we do them. That's the entire premise. But any of these kinds of stuff, think hip mobility. If your low back hurts, if your knees hurt, crank out some glute bridges every once in a while. It's going to help you get better at that, kick on the glutes so that it takes it off the knees. And if you have shoulder issues, think about doing some supine, shoulder slides up and down. Again, we're just greasing the wheels, going through the motions to make sure that we have those to work with. If you have a tight day at your desk like this all day, throw in some wall slides. You're taking it off of where it's been for 8 hours at a time, putting it in a better position so your posture doesn't suck. A million different things, wall slides, wall sits. If you have knee pain, I can't stress this enough. I'm not a PT, but I know that isometrics, meaning if we're holding a position or any kind of exercise, that is going to help your tendons. So if you have knee pain, I have patellar tendonitis, it bugs me when I run. Doing wall sits pretty much every single day, it helps it tremendously. It helps repair those tendons so that they can actually grow back. Your tendons literally need to be challenged in order for them to repair. They're not like muscles. They don't just get better, they just get worse until you actually load them and force them to recover themselves. So wall sits if you have knee pain, supine slides if you got shoulder pain, glute bridges if you got low back pain. Again, I'm not a PT, but all those things will not hurt you, I can tell you that, okay? Planks for anything. Just do planks all the time. Wall sits. 30 seconds is a good place to start. You can do different things like I'll do single leg wall sits, doing a wall sit, but single leg. You can do wall sits with calf raises to help build up this kind of stuff. If you got low, knee pain, you can do some isometric split squats. These are all things that probably your trainers have taken you through if you have those issues and that kind of stuff. If you have golfer's elbow, a good thing, real quick, I'll just show you. If you have some super light dumbbells at home or a gallon of milk or something, doing something like this, tennis elbow, golfer's elbow is this way, things like that. I'm not a PT, I'm not a medical doctor, just putting that out there, but if this doesn't hurt to do it, you should do this on occasion, okay? 2 sets of 15 reps, stuff like that. Just routine maintenance, builds up those tendons so that it doesn't hurt anymore. And then think about band work. Any of those mini band abductions that Tim literally breaks every time we do them, crank out some mini band stuff. It's always gonna help you. Put a mini band on your legs while you're doing those wall sits. Helps kick on the glutes. Get comfortable with that, okay? All right, last one, I'll just ask any questions on any of those. We can talk more in depth if you'd like afterwards, but anything you got? Cool, awesome. We got.
Using ice to me is like, that's
Pretty gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you see a pitcher come out in the 6th inning and they go right to the ice.
For sure.
A trainer not know what he's doing.
Yeah, objectively. Shout out YouTube, plug me later. They're wrong, Mark. Yeah, it doesn't help. So it provides that natural analgesic, that natural painkiller, and depends on the context, right? I'm sure 6th inning comes out, we give him like 10 minutes of, decreasing that tension there, and maybe comes back on, or maybe he's done for the day. It reduces inflammation, but that's the problem, right? Inflammation is a natural process that helps speed recovery. And it's gonna do that inflammation later. You're just taking 10 minutes off your recovery time now, or onto your recovery time. And you'll see it in basketball. They finish up a game and they've got literal knee packs on their knees. Feels good in the moment, that's fine. For the vast majority of you, it's not helping the healing process. It'll stop the pain for a little bit, just the way a painkiller would. Painkillers are anti-inflammatory, right? That's their entire premise, right? But inflammation in terms of acute injuries and stuff like that, it's not going to help speed your recovery. I'll go on the record.
Ice is always short-term and heat is on.
Yeah, sure, yeah. It's a good way of thinking it.
So what about all of the cold plunge?
Yeah, I knew this is going to be brought up.
Going on?
Yeah,
It's probably more respiratory than muscle.
Yeah.
sure.
So I think it just shocks your system.
Yeah. To be honest with you, Tim, I think it's if something's just come out now, we're like, oh, this is the key to your recovery, and this is the one thing you need, right? Probably just trying to sell you an ice bath, if I'm being honest with you. So I don't know enough about it. The things I've seen is it decreases inflammation, and again, inflammation isn't necessarily the negative we all have it out to be. But I don't know enough about it. I won't speak on it because I'm ignorant. But if it works for you, Tim, I say go for it. Otherwise, they're probably trying to sell you an ice bath. So there you go. Cool. Anything else in terms of ice or otherwise? Cool. All right. Last thing is stress, and this will be a quick one. Stress really is the real killer, okay? It's worse than cigarettes, it's worse than booze, whatever. Stress is to be managed, it's not to be eliminated. We all need stress. Stress does provide us productivity, and it's a vital process that we all have. Cortisol is the stress hormone, and it is actually what wakes you up in the morning. Your cortisol spikes towards the time when you're going to wake up, and that's physically what wakes you up in the morning, okay? Cortisol is fine. Chronic cortisol is very much a problem. Your body treats cortisol, if it's prolonged for too long, as like the number one thing that it needs to get rid of. All of a sudden, if you do that wonderful workout, but then you go to work and it's a super stressful day and you never fix your cortisol levels and they just stay high and you have crappy sleep because of it, and you wake up the next day and you have even more cortisol because you had crappy sleep, it's a vicious cycle. Your body has so many other things to worry about than it does at losing body fat or gaining muscle or repairing your tendons or decreasing inflammation or whatever those things are, okay? If you allow cortisol to just keep going forever, you're gonna have a bad time. We've all been stressed out. Stress is a normal part of your day, but too much stress is gonna be the killer. Things that help with that, honestly, I like meditation, I like mindfulness, I like breath work, even 30 seconds worth of deep breathing. If you literally just, if all of you humor me for a second, if you just take if you stand up nice and tall or sit up nice and tall, big breath as low as you possibly can. Hold it there for about 4 seconds or so. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then release it out your mouth nice and super slow, super duper slow, as long as you possibly can. Literally, when you do that, when your diaphragm, that muscle that sits below your lungs down here, if it literally depresses to a certain level, depending on your physiological anatomy, it will shoot a dopamine receptor into your frickin' brain and tell you to relax. It will force you to relax. It is one of the best possible things for you. When people say, just take a deep breath, that's not just like a fun little thing to say. It literally makes you relax. It takes 30 seconds. I do it before every single session. I told Hope last time, every single session, I go to the bathroom. I'm usually not peeing, I'm usually just taking a big breath in so I can actually perform for you guys and not be stressed out. Every time I see Mark's face, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta take a big breath, okay? So, take a big deep breath. If you're doing a workshop, if you're stressed out, big deep breath, 30 seconds is all it takes. It's gonna help decrease that cortisol, increase your dopamine, serotonin, makes you have a good time, okay? 30 seconds is all it takes. Belly breathing, it's wonderful, okay? And honestly, spending time with loved ones, single largest happiness study, from Harvard shows that community is the single most important factor when it comes to human happiness and quality of life. Bar none, that's it. If you spend time with loved ones, serotonin, dopamine, all those things go through the roof. Cortisol tends to eliminate itself. You're helping yourself out. And that's what life's for, okay? We're not all born to work for 12 hours a day. We're here to spend times with the ones we love. That's what we're doing all this for anyway, so we can look ripped as well as perform for those that we actually care about in life. Spend time with loved ones. Set boundaries. This is always a difficult one. Obviously, we work stressful jobs. If you can just zone out from your work when you're at home, it's going to help you out. It's going to make you more productive when you're at work, and it's going to decrease all that anxiety outside of work. Throw your phone in the trash. Last thing as far as that goes, disconnect from social media. They spend billions of dollars to trap your attention and piss you off. That's the whole point. There's no longer social connection as part of it. It's just there to piss you off, okay? And they do a great job of it, okay? So if you can get rid of your social media forever, honestly, commendable to you. I wish I could. It's very difficult, of course. But the less amount of time you spend on any social media, the vastly better your life will be, I can assure you. We are probably not meant to know everything in the world that's happening at all times. That's really crushing to know. We don't need to know it. Focus on yourself. Help save your mental energy for things that actually matter, and again, for those that you love, okay? Putting this all together, recovery is where the progress actually happens. You all try very hard in the gym. I see it every time. We talk about nutrition. You guys do very well at that as well. The last piece of the puzzle tends to be that recovery. If you're not prioritizing that, you can do all you want in the gym, have some crap sleep, and all of a sudden you're back to square one. You pretty much made no gains despite your very real effort in the gym and in the kitchen. If you're sleep deprived, tell your trainer, okay? You guys pay us a lot of really good money to perform good workouts for you. If you come in and all of a sudden my knee hurts, tell your trainer. If it hurts, all of a sudden you do your squat, normally that doesn't hurt, but your knee hurts today, tell me, okay? I spend so much time wanting to make sure that we can do a wonderful workout for you and still progress towards your goals and not hurt you. So just let us know. I can't read your mind. If I see you and Tim's cranking out a bench press and it looks like this, I'll be like, hey Tim, how's the shoulder? He's like, it's great, this is wonderful. Probably not, right? Be an adult, tell me it hurts. We'll make it fix it, or we'll fix it, okay? I promise. Sleep is foundational. Again, I can go into that. Active recovery is routine maintenance. Think of that as an oil change for your car. It enhances what you already do. Stress is a killer. Get rid of your social media and listen to your body, okay? It's going to tell you exactly what you need. Just listen to it, okay? Thank you all for coming. You can ask me questions after I shut my phone off. But yeah, thank you guys for spending the time with me. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you got something from this. It will be recorded. It'll be on YouTube. You'll get links to that. Questions, concerns, give me 1 second. You can applaud me off the stage, everybody. Thank you.